Hello. We're sitting here with Gary Schwartz, Chief Financial Officer of Bowers Intelligent Transportation. Thank you for taking the time to come and answer some of my questions.
My pleasure.
Okay. Mr. Schwartz, can you tell me a little bit about your company and what you do here?
Sure. Bowers Intelligent Transportation is a comprehensive passenger transportation company that focuses in on the luxury market. We have over 100 vehicles ranging in size from motor coaches all the way down to sedans, mostly hybrid vehicles. We transformed the company from just a limousine-oriented company to a full-service motor coach and bus business. Our motto essentially is three things. We want to be green, we're luxury, and technology.
Okay, great. What are some of the challenges that your company faces?
Well, we have quite a few. However, I would say the number one probably is finding qualified drivers. We actually call them chauffeurs because, as I indicated to you before, we took people who would be driving a vehicle and we actually made them into chauffeurs through our training program because we started out as a limousine company and we wanted to provide quality and luxury to all passengers regardless of the size of the vehicle. So consequently, it's difficult to go and maintain an employment of people who can understand that concept. I could tell you that out of 100 people that we interview, we may invite back 20% of those people to our training class, and out of that 20%, about 50% actually graduate, and out of that 50% that graduates, maybe 10% are left after the end of a couple of years. And the standards are high, and I would say that's our number one challenge.
Okay. In the luxury passenger transportation business, what does your demographic really value? The demographic for sedans and limousines specifically.
Well, I think everybody values being on time regardless of what transportation industry that you're in. But I would have to say in our business it's more important because the people who usually end up taking that kind of transportation are on a schedule. They need to be somewhere at a certain time. Specifically if you're going to the airport, obviously we know planes are supposed to leave on time. So being on time is important, being clean, having a clean vehicle, being neat, being able to go and communicate in the language that we speak in this country, which is English. All of those are really, really, I would say, demands minimum standards that our passengers and that most passengers are looking for.
Okay, great. Are you farming out sedan and limo business? And if you don't mind, for the people who don't understand what farming out is, just touching up on what that is?
Sure. Farming out is a term that is used in our industry, but it essentially means we have a reservation, an order that we cannot fulfill. Therefore, we have to ask one of our competitors to fulfill this order. So therefore, we farm out to that company, or an affiliate is really what we call it. And oftentimes that same company calls us. I know it sounds unusual that you are cooperating with your competitors, but we actually work with companies that have a larger fleet of, say, sedans or limousines, and those same companies work with us because we know we have a larger fleet of full-size motor coaches. And then sometimes we get orders that we know we're not going to have enough either chauffeurs or vehicles, and we need to use some affiliates. So that's how it happens. It's extremely common, and it happens quite often in the industry.
Okay. What are the hot new trends in the passenger transportation market that are coming along?
Well, they vary from market to market, but I would say in the San Francisco major metropolitan market, like other areas, say Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, the need for more of what we call black car service. Black car service is distinguished from the taxi cab industry because they cannot go and pick up passengers at random on the street. They actually have to have a reservation. as opposed to taxi cab service, they use what's called a medallion. And there are just not enough taxi cabs. In the city of San Francisco, we have been approached by many cab companies because they do not have what it takes to satisfy demand. So the hot new thing that's happening is being able to go and get black car service on demand. And there are a couple of new companies that have entered the market. We actually are going to be coming out with a competing product, but you're going to be able to order from wherever you're standing via your smartphone, whether it's an iPhone or Android phone, service, transportation service, in a major metropolitan market at some competitive flat rates. That's probably the hottest thing that's happening. Obviously, the use of Wi-Fi, GPS, onboard reservations, or I should say online reservations, a lot of those kinds of things becoming more commonplace by all transportation companies.
Okay. What do you think, in your opinion, are the main keys to succeeding in this business?
Well, I don't think they're any different than any other business. I think you have to be passionate about what it is that you do. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and depending upon how large you grow, it could become capital intensive. But I guess I'd have to underscore the human element, and that is being passionate about what it is that you do. You have to be adept. You have to be able to change when things are changing out there. You have to be able to respond to the market, but at the same time keep moving in a forward and straight and determined direction.
Okay. Do small passenger transportation companies have a chance to succeed in today's economy?
Absolutely. As we were talking about earlier, I told you about 6 years ago there were over 350,000 what we would call limousine companies in the United States. Today, in 2012, I would tell you there's probably less than half that. Because these particular companies were not prepared during this last economic downturn to withstand that kind of reduction. But there's always a need, and what has happened is the new breed, the new entrepreneur, has a greater opportunity today because the weaker companies have been flushed out. And there's always room for smart, hardworking, and well-run companies that provide quality service.
Okay. And the last question is, does this demographic truly value environmentally responsible companies?
Absolutely. There's been a massive change in this, especially in the San Francisco area. As we talked about a little bit earlier, I told you that we provide transportation for some large events in the city of San Francisco. And these are events that are attended by tens of thousands of people. And the city has adopted the viewpoint that any event that has, in their particular case, more than 15,000 attendees, the sponsors of the event have to go and use alternative water, have to be able to provide water, alternative meaning in other than plastic bottles because of the tremendous waste. But I can tell you that many of our clients ask all the time about, tell me about your fuel. We run biodiesel in all of our vehicles. And then, of course, we have hybrid vehicles. They want to know about the engines. They want to know about pollution controls, emission standards. Even the California Air Resources Board passed legislation many years ago that's not really enforced, but all commercial vehicles are required to turn their engines off after 5 minutes. And it's not being enforced. And then, actually, within school zones, they're 30 seconds. We actually have started a program where we have put solar panels on our bus to go and run the ancillary parts of the system. So the air conditioning and the Wi-Fi will still work even though we've turned the vehicle off. So yes, absolutely. California and San Francisco specifically are placing high value and demands on environmentally responsible transportation companies.
Okay, great, Mr. Schwartz. I appreciate you taking the time to answer my questions and give me some insight on what the business is actually like.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.